What it do, what the business is.
What happened to my startup? Cut it off.
Okay.
We in the building.
Hold on.
We in the building.
Hold on. Hey, let's pretend like ain't nobody heard it. You ready?
Hey, welcome to the what?
Countdown show. Oh. What it do, what the business is, baby.
We in here, baby. We in one more time, man. One more
Welcome
time, man.
to the Trash Talk Countdown Show. That's Bobby. I'm Shine. You know what we do every week, every Sunday. We here 5 minutes on the clock. We talk about some of your most polarizing subjects in combat sports today, and we got a doozy for you today. We're gonna talk about a little something. So what we gonna do now?
Hey, man, we're gonna get into this part of this section of Trash Talk Countdown Show, man. Hey, I gotta say something about this Diaz fight, man. That last minute though. That last minute though.
That last
Hey,
minute.
put 5 minutes on the clock, man. We gotta talk about that last minute though.
5 minutes on the clock. Let's go. So look, everything about this fight that I said was gonna come true, kind of sort of came true.
It did. You hit the nail on the coffin, man. You hit the nail on the coffin.
And I feel like we did a lot of living in this fight. Like a lot of living.
On one side.
We did a lot of living on one side, and we did a lot of living right there at the end. It was the arm.
Yeah.
You know how the hand come out of the grave, and you're like, oh.
Yes.
Then it gets chopped off.
It was the Undertaker.
That's what it was.
It was the Undertaker.
Leon Edwards defeats Nate Diaz by unanimous decision, to which he proceeds to beat on him for about 4 rounds and 4 minutes. And then out of nowhere, Diaz just decides, you know what? Boom. I'm going to hit him with this. He gets caught. He's wobbled. He's stanky leg. Everything is like, what just happened? Like, were you like me when you watched this fight like this?
Yeah. I was sitting in the chair shaking my head like, man, I thought Diaz was going to do better than this, man. In my head, I was saying, man, Diaz, all this hype for this fight, man. This is the only fight on the card that we came to see, and Diaz comes out and put this performance. The thing I was hoping didn't happen happened. He started bleeding over there by the eye.
Yep.
His tissue around the eye got puffed up, and then he got cut open with an elbow. And I was like, man, this fight is happening the way I didn't want it to happen. And then all of a sudden, this punch happened, and I scooted up in my seat. I said, I scooted up in my seat, and he pointed at him, and I said,
and then he said, so that we had 2 different reactions to that is what just happened. So when he pointed, you said, ooh, hoo, hoo. When he pointed, I said, yo, what you doing? I was heated. I'm so glad I didn't bet on this fight, because I was like, what do you do? He's like, I'm like, you ain't got nothing, bro. You ain't win this fight. Like,
no, he didn't win a minute until the last minute.
You could 10-8 this round and still lose on every scorecard.
Exactly.
And he had him wobbled. He pointed. He kind of came back. I mean, he tried to put the pace on him right there at the end, but he just had, kind of got his wits back about him. It could have been from the point, could have not been. But from there, he didn't get the job done. But what he did is, in famous Diaz fashion, he managed to lose a fight and have everyone excited and making excuses.
Exactly.
Off a Jump Street. What they say now? What they say about Nate Diaz's 3-round fights? Well, if it was 5 rounds, then Diaz would have won that fight. Diaz don't lose fights. He just runs out of time. So he fights a 5-round, non-title, non-main event, just a regular fight.
Which is bull.
Yeah.
This should not have been a 5-round fight, which is bull, but go ahead.
And he gets in the last minute, to which he almost doesn't lose. And now we're going, well, if it was 6 rounds, if it was a 10-round fight, if it was a 7
if he had another minute,
he would have
been on his ass pounding him.
So Diaz manages to lose this fight decisively. What was it? Wow, 49-46?
Yeah, yeah. It's like he lost all 3 rounds. Even the round that he put him down,
Four.
or he had him wobbly, he still lost that one too.
He lost that one. That would have been 50-45. But
Oh,
and
my
and we
bad.
all and we all look at this and go, nah, man, Diaz, he could have been. He's right there. He's right there.
There's only 2 fighters in the UFC right now that I feel like can lose a fight and then lose it in a way where it still brings up their stock. That's Jorge and then that's Diaz. That's the only 2 fighters ever that I've seen lose and their stock still stays the same or goes up. There's the only 2 fighters ever I've seen do that, man. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy how that happens.
I just,
Serious.
but even to go up. So like Connor, is his stock going up or is it just sort of not affected? Right.
Yeah.
Masvidal, he lost, but I feel like his stock went down. I could see how we still might get excited about a Masvidal fight, but I
They
don't know. I think it might have went down.
they still talking about Masvidal versus uh
Usman 3.
Diaz or Masvidal is still in the conversations for bigger fights that's going to earn some money. That's all I'm gonna say about that situation.
Okay.
Still in the conversations. It's crazy.
But Nate Diaz manages to get his butt whooped for 4 rounds and 4 minutes. And we have ourselves saying, well, no, in that last minute, had he beat Leon Edwards, that's a title shot.
I don't know. I don't know. I still like Nick Diaz. I love Nick Diaz actually, man. I love the way he fights. I love his antics during the whole fight session. I like the fact that he puts it on the end, but I feel like he could have gave me more. I wanted more. We saw in this fight that he had an opportunity to beat Leon, but it was only a lucky opportunity, and the luck didn't come until the 1 minute left in the fifth round, and then it ran out quickly. So, I
And
mean,
it,
I don't know where he goes from this, but Leon Edwards is slated for a championship bout, and
no, he ain't.
I'm just saying he's three,
He gonna
but
sit it out until he gets one.
they're saying that Leon either should sit it out or he should fight Jorge for some money. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
I don't know. And I just can't get on if he had another minute, he'd have won. I don't even know if he'd have won. But here's the thing
Man,
before
he was
we move
shook.
on to the next one is this right here. All of this only to have Nate Diaz announce another fight, and we all forget all about this. We all forget
I
all
mean,
about this.
he's man, it's a 50. This is a 50-50 fighter where we
He's
don't even know what
5
happened before.
and 6 in his
50
last
50
11.
fighter. This is crazy how he loses and we still look forward to his next fight. That's
Because
that's
I'm
how
there.
that's how much I'm there too. I'm in the seat. I'm betting on it. I'm good.
So look, we got to move on. We got to move on.
But before
Let's
we get here, we move on, man. We got to talk about what's in the bottom right corner, man. Stunting is a habit. We're affiliated with habits365.com. If you hit that / trash talk BS, you get 10% discount on that apparel. But if you want your logo in the bottom right corner, all you gotta do is hit us up at
my feet smell like butt at gmail.com.
hey man, greatest email ever made. Let's get into the next part of the show right here, man. Mayweather versus Paul, man. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for the last 2 weeks, man. We didn't have an opportunity to talk about it because we've been off air for a little bit. We had some things going on. We had to get it done, but we want to talk about this Mayweather versus Paul, man. Hey man, this was for bragging rights. This was a fight that what can I say?
It's the
Um,
dumbest shit I ever seen in my life.
it is. It is. The question I gotta ask you, man? Did he steal our money? I'm sorry. Did he steal y'all money? He didn't steal my money. Did he steal y'all money?
I put it on social media. I said, who better at robbing the United States? Floyd Mayweather or the IRS? Because he was robbing. Listen. Okay, you had to know that Floyd knew something that we didn't know. Floyd had to feel like he wasn't in danger for this fight. So I could understand that's why I was picking Floyd to win, even though he was outweighed by what, 30 pounds? Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, probably 40, 50 when it went in.
So, even then, like, he never he never got it out of second gear. He
No, there
cruised.
was a couple times though. There was a couple times where he threw some punches and bunches, and but he just couldn't get to him because I think Logan was holding on. And he said in the post fight press conference that Logan's a wrestler, and he held on pretty good, and he couldn't get him off there to a point where he can get them hands out and tag him a few times so he can set him up. So I feel like Logan did a great job of hugging him to a point where Mayweather couldn't get off on him. He got off on a couple times, man. And I got a question to ask you after you comment on that, but he got off on him a couple times.
Oh man, are you was he got off on him a couple times, and then there was that what was it, a 28 punch combination that Paul threw and it didn't hit nothing, and
Oh yeah. He did hit a damn thing. He
and
had nothing but air and arms. That's what he had.
and that was about it, and that was about it. But what's your question?
My question is, man, hey, later on in the rounds, man, I think it was sixth or seventh round, man. Mayweather's looked like he knocked Logan Paul out and then held him up, man. I'm telling you, he was sleeping. He was sleeping. He was carrying him. He was carrying him, man. I feel like Mayweather knocked him down or knocked him out right then in that moment and gave Logan Paul an opportunity to get back into it, man. Seriously. Because it's one of those things where I think he makes more money by Logan Paul finishing the 8 rounds rather than knocking him down because now
Why?
Jake Paul thinks he has an opportunity too, man. Because he still they still talking about it. They still talking about Mayweather. Mayweather is an afterthought because he's never fighting anybody who's worth something at this time. So if you get somebody in the ring that is not up to his standards, and then they go 8 rounds with him, then he'll get another easier fight and make another $10 million and rob everybody because it's just like, does Mayweather still have it? Does he still have it? But Mayweather knows himself. He's like, man, if I had a full training camp and I actually trained for this fight, I would have knocked him out in the second round. I'm just saying.
No,
It's one of those
no,
things where he makes more money
no,
by doing this.
no.
I see it.
First off, he said he wasn't gonna fight no more. I don't know how
He's
we're gonna
still fighting.
believe
He's
this.
fighting Jake next.
I
That's
don't know
what's
how
going to
we're
happen.
gonna. No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He's fighting Jake Paul. I'm telling you.
What I need to tell you about this is, no, he did not hold him up. No,
Yes,
he
he is.
didn't punch him and hold him up. It's not the case, because once you get done and you put somebody's lights out, and even if you hold him up for that small split second that he was holding him, what would have happened when he let him go would have been a little bit of that little shaky
It
shake,
was some stanky legs.
a
He
little
was
bit
sitting
of
over there.
that
He was
Leon.
sitting. He was sitting over there in his on his ring side with both arms on the ring, looking at the ground, trying to catch himself. He was trying to get them cobwebs out of his head. I'm telling you, he was never the same after that knockdown right there, which wasn't a knockdown because he got held up. Just saying.
But
Just throwing it out.
even then, if Mayweather lets him fall and gets a count, then it's a much different story. It's a much different rhetoric. It's a much different everything. I don't know how him holding him up raises his stock.
Because they still talking about it.
Like,
He
is
still got the
just
interest of the
something.
people. People's
But
going
but
when
what
you
would
watch
you
a
do
Mayweather
in
fight,
this
you
split?
watching a
Are you
Mayweather
telling
fight
me?
for him to lose.
No. Are you telling me that Mayweather is that smart? That in a split
Yes.
second he went over every idea in his head and he said, "All right, when I go out in this fight and I hit this dude and I almost drop him, I'm gonna have to hold him up. That way it could be controversial." He didn't know that that was gonna happen,
Man, he hit him with a clean shot.
and went, "Oh no, you're not supposed to fall." Is that what he did?
Man, he hit him with a clean shot. Mayweather went to hug and he held him up. I'm telling you, that's what happened, man. It's not one of those things where you got to think about it. Mayweather is not Mayweather, but Logan Paul was 230 pounds or 220 pounds in the ring. So once he hit him, he laid on top of him. Then all of a sudden, when he laid on top of it, Mayweather couldn't get him off because that's another 40 to 50 pounds, man. I'm telling you, that's what happened, man. I seen it. I seen it for myself.
Okay,
I seen it in my own eyes, man. I seen it. I
we
seen it.
we can agree to disagree.
All right, we'll agree to disagree. Hey, but look though, next on Logan Paul's list is him versus Mike Tyson. He said, I don't know if it was an interview, but there is a statement out there saying that Logan Paul said, "What makes you think I can't knock out Mike Tyson?" We got to talk about this. Put another 5 minutes on the clock.
So, um, what's the word that I'm looking for? No, is that the word? That's a good word? That's a good word. How about this? How about this? How about this? We just saw Mike Tyson fight. Now, if this would have been before the Roy Jones Jr.'s fight, and it would have been Logan Paul going out there to fight Mike Tyson, and we didn't know what to expect, okay, I'm with you on this. He said that I need to see it. But we just saw what Mike Tyson can do at his age. It's a wrap for Logan Paul if he steps in there with Mike Tyson. What is he going to do? This what's going to happen. You remember the thing Mike said? He's like, I just was like, meep. And then I was like, weep. And like, I'm moving forward while he moving sideways. You know what I mean?
Hey yo, Mike Tyson got something for him, man. Mike Tyson has something different that he brings to the table than Mayweather does. Mike Tyson has that knockout. Mike Tyson has that I'm finna brutally put you on the canvas, and I do not care about you, your feelings, who you are, and what you're about. He doesn't care about your family, where you came
They
from.
want to eat
He's
his
trying to
children.
knock he's trying he's trying to knock you the fuck out. That's what he's trying to do. Now, I think that Logan Paul is barking up the wrong tree,
Mm-hmm.
trying to mess with the old Mike Tyson. Even though he's old, them punches still hit hard. And I don't care what he's trying to say or what he's trying to do and how much money he's trying to gain from this, or he's trying to put himself on a platform where he gets more and more money or more and more clout. He's barking up the wrong tree, man. He needs to stay down there at the level he's at, fight some boxers at his same level, and then go from there, man. Because he's asking for somebody to put him out, put him the fuck out. That's all I'm gonna say about that situation.
So what he needs to do, Logan Paul, not Jake Paul. I don't like either one of them. I just want to put that out there. Don't. And like they said in the comments, the boy got a death wish is what he got.
Yes, you do.
So, but this is what I'm saying. You know what Logan Paul should do?
What?
Stop fighting. He can't fight. Um,
Man, he got a little bit, man. He got something,
no,
don't
you
he?
trying to think about Jake Paul.
No, I'm talking about Logan, man.
Now
He
you
got, he
ain't
got
thinking about Logan. You must be looking in your mind brain and thinking about Jake Paul. You ain't thinking about Logan. Logan can't fight.
damn. You gonna call him out like that, man?
He can't fight.
You trying to make some money too? You trying to get in the ring with him?
He can't fight. What you mean?
I'm just, I don't.
He can't fight. I'm sorry. Now, I have to give up a little bit to Jake Paul for like actually going out there and trying or actually getting ready for a fight and giving a damn? Yeah, whatever. That's fine. So if the idea that he might get better is out there, okay, that's cool. But Logan
The thing
Paul
is,
can't
he
fight.
should. Yeah,
He can't fight.
damn. So after seeing this 8 round exhibition, you came to that conclusion.
He can't fight. Logan Paul can't fight. And you can't tell me, look, what is it? He was in the ring with one of the greatest of all time. Okay, that's cool. That only proved that he can't fight. What about the what's his name? The KSI fight? Was that the
Yeah,
one he fought?
yeah, man.
Guess
He
what we
didn't look.
said then?
He can't fight.
He can't fight. Now, if you think about Jake Paul, I don't know who Jake Paul fought first. Then he fought Nate Robinson, right? Who did he fight first?
He
Hootie
fought a
and
YouTuber
he
first. He
fought
fought a
you Hootie and the
YouTuber.
Blowfish or somebody.
Yeah, somebody, a YouTuber, Abu or something. I don't know his
So
name.
we don't know who that
I
was
ain't
that
gonna
he
butcher.
fought.
I ain't gonna
So
butcher him.
we ain't gonna jump on that. But when he fought Nate Robinson, we went, I mean, okay, you know,
He hit
you
him
know,
with some combinations though.
but
He
do
hit
you
Nate
know what
Robinson with combination.
you know what we said about Nate Robinson?
He's
He
a
can't fight.
basketball player. Can't fight.
He
Yeah, we
can't
did say
fight.
that.
We we didn't really want to say that about Jake Paul. Then he came out there and he slept my man's, and that was most unfortunate for the MMA world. We thought he was gonna hold him down. That's fine. But we looked at Jake Paul and we're like begrudgingly saying, okay, whatever. But Logan Paul taking on Mike Tyson when he can't fight, no, not at all. I will
Yeah.
listen. I will bet the house. I'm not betting the house. That was
Oh
a
no,
joke.
I bet the house on Mike Tyson knocking him out now.
That
Because
was a
Mike
joke.
Tyson going in to do one thing, man. He's not going there throwing no combinations. And if it is a combination, it's a 3 and a 6. and he's trying to throw that 17,000 times. He's trying to knock you out. He's trying to either make you pee on yourself or make you go to sleep. That's what he's trying to do. One or two things. You either gonna pee on yourself or go to sleep. That's it. And he has a jaw that he can hold himself together if he gets hit a couple times by Logan Paul. And I don't feel like Logan has the
He gonna hit him
strength
with what? He
to
threw
knock him out.
27 punches, didn't hit nothing.
Man, man, if you look at the punch card or punch count, man, it'll it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous in that Mayweather fight. It was ridiculous. He had like a 14% hit rate. That is crazy.
Somebody, let's see. He said, which of them beat Gronk's brothers? Gronkowski's? That was
It was
Logan
Logan.
Paul with some sparring footage. That's sparring. Don't count. He can't fight. I'm sorry. I'm
Hey
sorry.
man, you heard it here first, man. Shine Barnes said he can't fight.
He can't fight. He can't. Ugh, it's so bad. Now, I have to say that because you have to give up a little bit to Jake Paul. I do. Your brother can't fight. What we got coming up next?
Hey man, we got this Fury versus Wilder. But before we get into that, man, we gotta talk about what's in the bottom right corner, man. Stunting is a habit. Get like us. Get some of that pair of trash talk. No, not trash talk. Habits365.com / trash talk BS. And if you want your logo, you want a sponsorship or something in the bottom right corner, all you gotta do is hit us up at
My feet smell like butt at gmail.com.
hey man, greatest email account ever made. Let's get into the next part of the show, man. Fury versus Wilder.
Boom. And we up. 5 minutes on the clock. Let's
5
talk
minutes
about this.
on the clock, man. Talk about it, man. I got a
they're
couple
gonna
questions.
make us. They're gonna make us watch it.
They are.
They're gonna make us watch it.
They are.
So therefore, we gotta talk about it. What's the question?
Through arbitration, Wilder won the fact that Fury has to fight him in the third match between the two. And the question to you is, in about a year's time, I think it's about a year since they fought last. About a year. Do you think Wilder has retuned himself to learn how to better box? And if so, do you see a different outcome in this next match?
I hope that Deontay Wilder is making a lot of money for this fight. Let's just leave it at that, huh? Because in that time, do I think that he's gonna have just something to combat for all of the things that he sort of missed on, did wrong, could have did better, or anything against Tyson Fury, or be able to change the things from the adjustments that Tyson Fury made in 1 year's time with also working with a new coach? I don't know. But then again, here's the thing. Then again, we're all humans, right?
Yeah.
These guys are what you want to call superhumans.
Yeah.
They got all the time in the world. They got computers behind them, as in boxing minds, computing knowledge while they're doing other things, and they're probably spending a large amount of time actually thinking about this because they can afford to. They ain't working. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, then can he cut that learning curve down to a year? I don't know. Probably. But here's another thing. When you get hit in a fight, you will resort to what you know best. So all of that new stuff that you've been working on, I'm gonna switch stances and I'm gonna go this way. You switch stance, you get punched in the mouth, and you go, you know what? I'm not gonna fight Southpaw this fight. And that's what happens. So if you're asking me, like, in a year, can Wilder really turn around and actually have something to show? Because it's not like he got caught. So in the first fight, now don't get it misconstrued. In the first fight, yes, he did. He had him sleep for 9.5 seconds or 22 seconds, depending on how you count it. But he caught him with that strike, right?
Yeah.
Fury didn't catch him. Fury outworked him the whole time till he stopped, till the dude threw the towel in and got fired for it.
Yeah.
So what is he gonna fix?
Well, I mean, there's some technical things or some tactical things he could have fixed. There's some footwork issues. There's some not keeping your hands up to the point where you can block some of those punches coming through. I feel like he kept his guard down to a point where he got tagged with a lot of shots. But what Wilder is saying is that Fury cheated. He's saying that you cannot punch out of a glove the way Fury did, and the way his glove was bending, and it looked like it was just straight fist to face. That's the thing that has Wilder upset, and that's the thing that Wilder is so mad about, especially coming into this fight. And he's mad to the point where when they had the post or the pre-fight press conference, he didn't say anything at the pre-fight press conference. He had his trainer do all the talking, and then at the daggone um the face off, he stood there for 5 minutes, looked at this guy in the face, and didn't say a word. His trainers and people behind him, shout out to my boy Tay. Shout out to my boy Tay. I heard him in the back saying two time, two time, saying two-time WBC heavyweight champion. He gonna be champion again. But your boy Wilder just stood there and looked him in his eyes, and he looked like. Boy, I tell you one thing though, Wilder is one guy that even though I say he's not a true boxer, he's more of a brawler. I would not say anything bad to his face because that right hand would not only knock me out, but it would send me to the upper room. So hopefully, I hope and pray that his new trainer has gotten him in the gym to the point where not only he will not resort back to the old way he was boxing before, especially in this match, but he will shock the world. That's what he's saying he's gonna do. He's gonna shock the world. I don't know.
How
I
does
don't
it?
know.
Well, no, 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 no. How does he shock the world?
I mean, it comes in has you see some better footwork. You see some more movement around the ring. You see some his hands up. You see some more head movement. I don't feel like he has good head movement or
Okay.
had good head movement before. So I just feel like you see some things that maybe a lot different.
So okay, that would be shock the world worthy. I thought it would have been like the idea of saying like I'm gonna shock the world, like I'm gonna go out here and knock Tyson Fury out. Like
Well, he already did that one time though. We already seen that.
you knocking Tyson Fury out is not shocking. That's what we expect in this
Expect,
fight.
yeah.
But here's the thing: if he can outlast and outwork that, then he's gonna catch that W. I would be highly shocked if he went out there and he was behind his jab. He was working. He was feinting. He was on the 1-2, and then he had Fury to the point where he was frustrated, going, "Wow, this is not even the same fighter that I was even close to being against." If that's the case, then shout out to anybody in Deontay Wilder's new camp because that is going to be tremendous. And another reason why I want to see the third fight.
True, true.
I'm
I want
excited
to
to
see
see
it
it.
too.
I'm
Hey,
excited to see it.
who you got? Who you got in this fight? Before we get to the next part of the show, man, who you got in this fight?
So you could only avoid catching that shot for so long.
Yeah.
So I feel like he got lucky for those was it the 10th? He got lucky for those rounds in not catching that shot that completely changes the fight. I don't know if he
Yeah.
does it again. I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick Wilder by KO, but I'm picking like old Wilder by you know not really winning the fight for a few rounds, and then the fight is over because he hit him with a bomb. That's what I'm picking.
So so I'm gonna go off that too, man, because I feel like Wilder's gonna win this fight too, man. I feel like it's gonna be like this. I feel like that the things that he learns or learned that he couldn't do well, he does a little bit better, and it allows him to get to a point where he can get off that right hand and land that bomb squat. So I'm saying the same thing you're saying, but in a different way. I feel like he utilizes some of the tools that he has in his repertoire from the time he's been laid off because he understands and knows what he needs to do now, and he knows that Fury is a different kind of fighter. He has to hit him with a different kind of way, or hit him in a different kind of way. So that being said, I feel like I feel like Tyson Fury comes in and his head is a little bit bigger than what it needs to be, and he feels like he's going to accomplish something that is going to be easy. But I don't think Wilder's going to bow out like that. Wilder comes in, knocks him out. I think it's going to be early. I think it's fourth or fifth round, and I think Tyson is going to be winning all four rounds, and then all of a sudden Wilder's just going to go like Mike Tyson did. He gonna move. He ain't see me, and then bam. That's all I'm gonna say about that, man. But let's
Uh-huh.
get into the next part of the show, man. This is something that I'm really excited about to talk about, especially coming up in the month of July. Before we get into that, if you want your logo in the bottom right corner, all you gotta do is hit us up at
My feet smell like butter. Gmail.com.
hey man, greatest email account ever made. We got Poirier versus Connor 3. Now, sometimes I don't like this is one thing I'm gonna say before we get into the talks about Poirier versus Connor 3. I don't like the trilogy. I don't like the third fight. Sometimes I like it to be just two, and then one wins one wins the other. So it just keeps you on your toes. Like, man, I wonder what would happen in that third fight. But here we get the third fight because Nick Diaz versus Connor is so big that you still talk about it today about a third fight. But will it ever happen? Probably not. Would you want it to happen? Yes. But now we get the Poirier versus Connor 3. What do you feel about this fight, Sean?
It's the same thing that I said for the last segment for the Fury versus Wilder. What can Conor McGregor fix in this amount of time? Now, this might be a
This is
little bit.
shorter.
This
This
is
is
a
a shorter
shorter.
amount of time.
This is a shorter amount of time, and it can't just be as simple as, "Hey, man, I felt like you were doing really good, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you didn't know how to check kicks." No, 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 no. There was a lot more going on. They have where's he at? American Top Team? The
Yeah.
guys at American Top Team, they have Conor McGregor's sort of number. And when I say Conor McGregor's number, is the fact that when Conor McGregor comes out, you're going to get the Conor McGregor you saw the last time. You're not going to get like this new Conor because Conor ain't got time for that. Conor making money. Conor
Yeah.
ain't out here coming up with that. Okay, well, I'm gonna switch stance, and then I'm gonna come through, and then I'm gonna start working on that lead leg, and I'm playing chess. No, no, no. Conor's coming out like Conor comes out, and they've got that peg. They've been working against that too, because who else trained down there at Conor? Conor's fought a couple of American Top Team guys, so he's been on their brain. So now the idea, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do that goes besides? Oh, if Conor lands that left hand, I understand. He goes out there, he lands the left hand. Everybody goes, see. But anyway, what is he gonna do? How can he fix the idea that he had no answer for those low leg kicks?
There was no answer at all. There was no answer to the point where that leg gave in, and his will, his soul, his mind was all in the fight, but that leg was out. That leg was gone. He couldn't walk on it, couldn't stand on it. He couldn't get out of the ring without any help. I don't see, I don't see anything that he's done training wise to help him out. Maybe not leaving that leg out to get kicked, switching his
Ha!
stance a lot more.
Here you go.
Maybe that,
Here you go.
but
Let me ask a question
I
because
don't know.
that's a good point you just brought up. Not leaving it out there. Now that brings up this question: is that leg still compromised?
Probably.
Is that leg even fully healed?
Probably not. Probably not.
I,
I don't know for sure. We're gonna see in this fight because he's gonna hit him with a couple leg shots, and that leg probably just buckled from the very beginning. I hope it doesn't, man, because Conor McGregor winning and Conor McGregor being the poster boy of the UFC is a good thing. Conor McGregor losing and losing twice to the same guy is a bad thing because then they don't have a leg to stand on in the UFC. They don't have Conor anymore. I mean, you still got Conor McGregor. People gonna watch him, but you don't have the aura of
that
an
mystic
yeah,
man. Yeah.
yeah. You don't have that no more. You don't have it no more. And then for Conor to come in the ring and he it felt like in his post fight interview, it just felt like he was happy to be here.
It
I'm just
did. It
happy to
did.
be here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to come in and compete. I haven't been here in it for a while. It's good to get in, get my feet wet again. But I know that you have to be in it. You can't just go in and come out, go in and come out. You got to be in the UFC. You got to be in fighting so you can continue to win. So it just felt like he was just there just to be there. I just felt like that.
Yeah, yeah. And then what happened? And it's not like what he said wasn't true. So this is what happened. They had the fight. He signed a contract. He showed up at the gym, and they were like, "Okay, Connor. Connor's probably a little out of shape." And they were like, "Uh, let's do the things that we did before you left, I guess, and then try and get in shape." And then spent half of the time trying to get everything back going, while McGregor has those brains behind him crunching numbers. Hey
You talking
man,
about Poirier?
did I say McGregor?
Yeah. You talking
Yeah,
about Poirier has the brains
Poirier
behind him and
Poirier has some brains behind him, crunching numbers, and one of them went, "Wait, wow, he's a little heavy on that front leg. You think we ought to build a game plan?" And then they went through, they watched some more film, and they came up with the idea of like, let's chop that leg down, let's see what happens. And then over there on the other side, they're just still doing the same thing. And there's no what ifs. There's no finding this. There's no like I got hit with a low leg kick and it kind of hurt a little bit. Maybe I ought to address those. No, he was completely thrown off by that. And so, with that being said, who you think is gonna win this third fight?
man, it's the opposite of what I thought in the Fury versus Wilder, man. I feel like Poirier comes in, they get some new footage, something else that Conor McGregor is doing that he shouldn't be doing or he hasn't fixed. He has a tail of some sort. And I feel like they expand upon just the leg kicks because they understand now he knows that the leg kicks are coming. So they're like, what is he going to do knowing that the leg kicks are coming? So are we going to feint like we're going to kick him and then kick him in the head? Are we going to feint and then hit him with a jab? Are we going to hit him in the face more and then just feint the kick so he can have something to worry about? They have Connor on his back foot now, not moving forward but moving backwards. So that's going to work in their advantage too. So I feel like Poirier comes in. I feel like he finishes him early again in the second round, and Conor McGregor and the Mystic Mac or the Mystic Magic just goes away, and it's just one of those things where Conor McGregor just goes out in the sunset and just makes all that money off of that alcohol that he's selling.
He said better get his wrestling better. I feel like Connor's wrestling defense, maybe against Poirier, probably will hold him up just fine. It
Yeah.
Habib, no one else has proven the fact that they can just completely go out there and just smash Connor. But with that being said, what I'm thinking is sort of along the same lines, but also you got to think about it like this: when a fighter beats another fighter, the idea of their mindset sort of shifts, kind of. I get that feeling with Dustin Poirier that even though he beat Conor McGregor, he still doesn't feel like he beat Conor McGregor.
No.
No one's really talking too much. Maybe in the inner circle where he is, but the rhetoric that he hears over and over that's probably beat into him is like, what will Conor do? What will this do? So even in winning that fight, he probably felt like he didn't win that fight. So he was probably very motivated to even start camp. Because some people's like, oh, I beat this guy. I'm just going to do it again. All right, well, let's just, get started and stuff like that. No, I bet he went, okay, what do we need to do to put the nail in this coffin against this guy?
Yeah.
And he's going to come out there and he's going to operate like he did not win the fight.
Give me a surgeon.
And I don't, besides him getting caught and stunned with something that completely throws everything off, I don't know how Dustin Poirier is going to lose this rematch. I got to pick Dustin.
When and how?
Huh?
When and how? What round? How does he do it?
I don't know if he finishes him again. I
If he
feel like
hits
it's
him
going
with
to be a
them leg,
decision.
if them leg kicks hit like they did in the first or the second fight, he finishing them.
Okay. I'm going to pick decision.
Okay. 5 round. Was it 5 round or 3 round?
5 rounds for the
God, dog, man, they
for the
doing this
belt.
bull crap. This ain't for the belt, man. They already got the belt.
Who got the belt?
Man, they fought. The belt was fought for 262.
Oh, it was Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira. They ain't
Yeah,
even got
this
the
ain't.
belt.
This ain't even for the belt, man. This just for bragging rights again.
bro.
Bro, they UFC love doing this shit now.
I guess if it's a main event, it'd be 5 rounds anyway. But
I
with that,
hate that.
with that being said, I think Poirier pulls this one out.
I got you. I got
And I
you. All right.
I haven't picked against Connor in a while.
All right. Well, let's get into the next part of the show, man. But first, before we get into the next part of the show, I gotta be stunting. Stunting is a habit. Get like us, habits365.com/trash talk BS. Get your apparel right then and there when you hit that link. But if you want your logo at the bottom right corner, all you gotta do is hit us up at
My feet smell like butt at gmail.com.
hey, greatest account ever made. Hey, get into the next part of the show, man. I know you got something to say about this.
He's scared to look. He shook. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. So, did he bite off more than he can chew in this fight?
The
Or
best the best thing that happened was Jake Paul chose another MMA fighter who is not considered an actual boxer. That's the only thing I can say for that first part of that question. What's your second part of that question, man?
does he know something that we don't know again?
The only thing I can see that Jake Paul is looking at is the fact that Tyron Woodley has been on a what 4 fight losing streak in the MMA, and it might get into his head or sink into his head losing because losing is very contagious, and once you start on a losing streak, it can stay in your head, and then you can doubt yourself to a point where you keep losing. But the problem with that losing streak is that sometimes whenever you get into that losing role, you find somebody of maybe Jake Paul's caliber, who is a good but not great, or average but not good fighter, and you get yourself back into the win column to get your confidence back up. So I think that might be one of those things for Tyron Woodley, especially since he's been on that 4 fight losing streak, and then on top of that, he gets one of the biggest paydays of his life. But with that question you asked, they did a pre-fight, like, what you call them things where they stand up, do the little presser, and they get the posters and stuff ready,
Little
man, and
face
then
off?
little face off, and what happened?
Um, he looked a little not Jake Polish for that.
Hey, what my boy used to say on Wild Night, he look shaky, a little
A
shaky, a
little,
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 little shaky,
a
he
little
little
shaky.
shaky. Your boy Jake
Um,
Paul a little shaky.
buddy, you probably should have projected a little bit of what's the word? Confidence.
A little bit of confidence, a little bit, just a little bit, especially when you looking at him straight in his eyes. Because I mean, your boy Tyron Woodley staring him down, talking cash shit to him, staring him down, talking about say, "Hey, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out," and your boy Jake looking scared.
But even in the other place, he didn't look the worst. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he might have bit off more than he can chew for this fight. I feel
Man,
like, but also maybe he knows something that we don't know. So
man,
here's the idea.
I don't
He
know this one.
he beat basketball guy, and then he beat a wrestler who doesn't really box, but he was a champion for a major organization. We can't forget the fact
Yeah,
that Ben Askren was a champion for a major organization. Then we get to the point where he may know something that we don't know about this fight, but the words that come out of this fight is if he beats Tyron Woodley, he has beaten a UFC champion in a fight, albeit boxing. I get it. I understand. But he beat a champion. He he beat the Strike Force and the UFC, two major organizations, champions. So that's a little stout. I'm not gonna lie to you.
but
And
that's a if though.
if anybody's proven also that there's levels to this, that old UFC champions can still fight in their old age, is old Anderson Silva when he beat Chavez.
But Anderson Silva is a marksman. He's a guy that in his fighting days he can put the punches in places that most people can't.
But
And he can do it
Tyron
faster
Woodley
than
can
most
hit.
individuals. Tyron Woodley
He's
can
a
hit
hitter.
hard. He can hit and he can hit hard, but he's never been that individual who put punches in places faster than his opponent. He's always been that individual that has stand back, see what his opponent's going to do, and then counter. That's what Tyron's been. I feel like if Jake Paul waits him out and makes Tyron anxious to the point where he starts flailing punches or coming forward, then I think Jake Paul can do something. But man, Tyron got to do this for the culture, man. He got to do this for the MMA culture. He got to do this for every individual who does not like this YouTuber going up running his mouth. He got to do this for the people that want to see Jake Paul get knocked the fuck out. And I'm telling you right now, if Tyron doesn't knock the fuck out of Jake Paul, he needs to retire, go in somewhere. He needs to fly to an island and get lost. That's all I'm gonna say about that situation. Seriously. But who you got in this fight though?
I don't know. Which one is it that always keep making the money moves? Is it Jake? Jake try to
Yeah.
Jake
No,
try to
Jake
be
made the money
Jake
moves, man.
Jake try to he tried to be the bad guy and the good guy at the same time,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to like you're like, damn, I'm kind of buying it. Like I don't like this dude, but then he says something like, I'm trying to get Anderson Silva versus Roy Jones Jr. on the undercard. Or he trying to like, is he the definition of a bad guy? Even though he's a bad guy, he's still trying to put everybody on.
Yeah, I feel like it, man. I feel like because he's looking at the UFC in a way where it's like you have all these elite fighters, but you're not paying them big money, and you got to as an individual know your worth. And for a YouTuber to get in the ring with a UFC champion, and that UFC champion has been a champion, we're not talking about a journeyman. We're talking about a champion. And for him to make the most money fighting a YouTuber who's only had 3 fights
That's crazy.
rather than making more money as a champion of the UFC, there's something wrong with that picture. And I understand where he's coming from. That means Jake Paul, where he's coming from with the fact of what he's trying to prove, especially with those UFC fighters coming to the boxing round. But sometimes you feel like he's not doing it in the way he should. But it is what it is. It's selling the fight. You got to sell the fight. In order to make the money, you got to sell it. And if you ain't doing something or antic to sell the fight, you ain't doing your job. And right now, your boy Jake Paul doing your job. Because if I didn't go on that little rant saying that Tyron Woodley need to knock him the fuck out, that means I'm invested. That means I might spend some money. I'm not, but it means I might. You know what I'm saying? There's some people out there that will. But who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? I feel like Tyron Williams going to come out, knock him out the first round, first minute and a half, catch him with one of those rights. And Jake Paul going to be sleep on the ground. We're not going to hear anything else about Jake Paul until about 2 months later until he finds another opponent that he's going to talk shit about. But who knows?
I got Tyron Woodley. I got Tyron Woodley. And I got but it's the idea of like, it does not matter who Jake Paul is fighting. The old Connor adage where everybody picked against Connor until
yeah.
Connor was Connor. And then everybody
Yeah.
went, oh, this guy must got something. Yeah, it's the same thing. He going to have to show it to me time in and time out for me to pick a Jake Paul in any kind of fight. So I'm going to go with Tyron Woodley in this.
I got a quick question for you before we end this show right here. Hey man, if Jake Paul wins this fight, if Jake Paul wins this fight, do you feel like there's going to be some actual boxers coming out from everywhere, Thomas? We need to get this dude out of this boxing ram because he's making us look bad.
No.
Do you
I
feel like
think it'll be
somebody
different.
comes out and does it?
No, I think it'll be different. I think it'll be.
What's what you think?
I've got two trains of thoughts in my head whenever I sit down and I think about this. In all actuality, if he goes out there, he wins this fight, and he looks pretty good. If I'm the boxing world, I would essentially like put my arm around this guy, and I would groom him because he would then be good for the sport, and the fact that he's going to be a mega seller, and the fact that he's actually getting better and beating real people. So the next fight that I would be, in all honesty, Logan Paul can't fight. Just put that out there. Um, if he beats,
You had to throw that out again. Low ball can't fight.
well, I'm just saying we got to steal his stuff. If he beats Tyron Woodley, You know what the natural progression is?
Mm-hmm.
Fight Mike.
Nah, I don't know if he would fight Mike Tyson and Jake Paul
Why?
wise. I think he would fight a boxer of a mid tier caliber. I don't know about
That
Mike
ain't
Tyson
selling
though.
nothing. That
You're
ain't
right.
selling nothing. If he beat Tyron Woodley, then he knows something that we don't know. So then when he moves on to a Mike Tyson, he probably still like maybe knows something that we don't know, but we still like, oh man, it's going. Mike's still old.
God, no, man. But Mike
Oh
Tyson
no
hit
no 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 no
hard.
no. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. He couldn't do that anyway. Wouldn't be it wouldn't get sanctioned. So it'd have to be an exhibition. So
Yeah.
whatever. Go let non-fighting Logan do it. Logan Paul can't fight, by the way. Uh, so then the idea would be they're not gonna put him up with some mid-tier kind of guy. You know what the next fight is? What's his name? No, it would be an exhibition, so it wouldn't count. Is it Andre Ward? He's not fighting now because he's having a couple problems. They won't license him to fight.
So you telling me you gonna put Jake Paul up against a champion of the past and Andre Ward?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
He
All
has
right.
to slingshot. There is no mid tier. It's
Yeah,
not
you're
how that
right.
happened. He
You're
has
right.
to
There
slingshot.
is no going back. There is no going back. Once you start making money and you put yourself on the map, you got to continue on that same route.
So he
Just
has
like
to
Conor
find those
McGregor.
guys. He has to find those guys where he knows something that we don't know, and we're all telling ourselves like, no, 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 no. Andre Ward gonna knock him out, and then he gets that, and maybe he gets to like some weird, maybe 7-8-0, and then he's like,
Damn.
go
If
get
he
me
does,
Alvarez.
dude, if he does something like that, man, and he's a heavyweight though, so he can't go down.
What's he 90? He's in the 90s.
I think he's like 190, 200.
They couldn't fight Alvarez. Why ain't
Nah, I
calling
think
out
he's.
Alvarez for anyway then?
I don't know. I think he like 190, 200. I mean, but and Alvarez would probably bulk up just to try to knock him out though, because of the money you can make in that fight. Is he the new Mayweather?
Is who the new Mayweather?
Jake Paul.
The guy you pay money to see get knocked out, you love to hate him?
Yeah, exactly.
No. No.
Mayweather is hated more than Jake Paul at this point in time
Either way, Mayweather's in a different stratosphere.
because he can box.
Basically because he can box, but also he's in a different stratosphere of like, yeah, we know Jake Paul, but no, that's Mayweather. Even the people
True.
that hate him, that want to see him lose, still want to watch him do his thing. So,
Yeah.
what else you got?
Hey man, the comment section, man. Kenny talking about Buster Douglas.
Is he fighting Buster Douglas? I heard Buster Douglas said he'd come back and fight Mike again.
Oh my God.
I swear I thought I heard that.
Man, Mike's gonna fight again.
Mike's
And
gonna fight again.
he's supposed to have been fighting Evander Holyfield, but I don't think that match was put together. But Mike Tyson's supposed to fight again. I don't know exactly who at this time, but we'll see in the future. If he fights somebody, you know we're gonna talk about on Trash Talk Countdown Show. But Sean, you got anything else for the people, man?
That's all I got. It's been real.
It's always real.
It's been good.
Been good tonight, man.
But it ain't been real good.
Ain't never that.
Look, we're gonna come back next time. We can't stay so long.
I